Long gone are the days of Fever fans having to worry about Christie's side slowing Caitlin Clark down. Remember that when that was a talking point? Now, in the second half of last season, the Fever played a lot faster. Clark had the ball in her hands, and every offseason move they made signified they continue to want to put the pedal to the metal when it comes to playing up tempo. Stephanie White has said as much and conveyed as much. And of course, the moves that they made said as much. You bring back Kelsey Mitchell, one of the fastest players in the league. You sign Natasha Howard, whose nickname is Flash. One would think you're going to play fast, especially when Caitlin Clark is the catalyst to everything you do. And that's what's going to make the Fever so tough to deal with, what they can do in transition. And then once that isn't there, the options that they have at all five positions with Clark being able to distribute. And the Fever president, Kelly Kroskop, said as much in an interview with Sportico. She talked about the fan expectations and how fans can expect the Fever to play, which is no different than what I just said, of course. Kind of obvious. This is shared by Ken Swift, but it's from the Sportico article. I think you're going to see a very hungry group of players. First is an extremely competitive group. That's number one. Everybody likes to talk about it, but these players really are about that. They're extremely competitive. They love the game. The question was, what should fans expect from the Fever this year? And then from a style standpoint, we added players that like to play up tempo, that like to get out and run, score in transition. And I think you're going to see a fast-paced, really fun environment of basketball on the court that leads to a lot of scoring, a lot of fast-paced play. The competitive part of it is interesting as well, considering the players that they brought in, right? DeWanna Bonner is a competitor. Howard has won. Colson has won. Sophie Cunningham is a competitor. And, it's the same script when you're talking about all these players that the team has added. But to hear it from the mouth of the person who helped put it together only makes it resonate even more. And then you go into it and you look at some of the other comments that she made, including whether the star players were consulted. We heard about protect the locker room. The answer was you always want to pick the brains of the players. I did it with Tamika Catchings and others. So I think it's smart business to inform some of your key players of some of the targets that we're looking at. It's not necessarily asking for their sign off. It's more of a let's talk about this together, which again makes sense. She was also asked about, America's team and that label for the Fever and, how they could stack up with teams like the Yankees and the Lakers. And she understands winning is a big part of it. But some of that was also interesting because she talked about all the fans from out of town who visit the team, all of the, attendance on the road. Those are things that factor in to these discussions. So America's team, I mean, it ain't that far off, right? They're certainly one of the most popular teams in America. Let's put it that way. But a lot of that's because they're fun to watch, and that's basically a guarantee that the Indiana Fever are going to be even more fun to watch after what just happened in WNBA free agency.